You ever wake up to find your mailbox trending on the neighborhood Facebook group because it's too cheerful for the community aesthetic? Yeah, that's when you know you're living next to a Karen. Or in my case, an entire Karen coven. Before I spill the rainbow tea, smash that like button, lest you want your mailbox painted beige by the HOA in the dead of night. And hit subscribe because you never know when you'll need a revenge plan for your own neighborhood nemesis. Let's set the scene. I moved into Maplewood Estates. Place so aggressively charming, it felt like a Stepford Wives reboot. Every house was a shade of eggshell, or cloudy regret. Lawns were trimmed with military precision, and the mailboxes, identical, soulless, and if I'm honest, pressing as a Monday morning Zoom call, but I'm not a beige person. I'm a let's paint the world person. So, after closing on my first home, I did what any self-respecting, slightly unhinged adult would do. I painted my mailbox. Not just any color, mind you. I went full Lisa Frank, think neon pinks, electric blues, a dash of glitter, and a hand-painted rainbow with a smiling sun. It was a mailbox that screamed, "Mail goes here, but so does joy." Enter Karen. Or, as she introduced herself, Catherine, president of the Maplewood Estates Homeowners Association. She appeared on my doorstep the very next morning, clutching a clipboard like it was a holy relic. Her hair was so tightly wound it looked like it could snap at any moment, much like her patience. "Good morning," she said, in a tone that suggested it was anything but. "I noticed your mailbox. It's quite vibrant." I smiled, thinking she was about to compliment my artistic flair. "Thank you. I wanted to brighten up the street." She blinked, as if I'd just confessed to a felony. "We have guidelines. Neutral colors only. White, black, or forest green. It's in the bylaws." I glanced at my mailbox, then at her. "But it's just a mailbox." She leaned in, lowering her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "It's a slippery slope. First, it's a colorful mailbox. Next, someone puts up a garden gnome. Then chaos." I laughed, thinking she was joking. She was not. That was day one. By day 3, the Karens had mobilized. Catherine had a squatter sister-in-law, her best friend, and a rotating cast of HOA minions. They started slow, passive-aggressive notes in my mailbox. "Please consider the community's aesthetic, the not-so-passive ones. This is your final warning." I found a printout of the HOA bylaws taped to my door, highlighted in neon yellow. Irony apparently was lost on them. But I held my ground. I just survived a cross-country move, a breakup, and a job change. I was not about to be defeated by a beige-loving bureaucracy. That's when the real games began. First, my mailbox was egged. Not on Halloween, mind you, on a random Tuesday. I woke up to yolk dripping down the rainbow, the sun's smile now a gooey frown. I cleaned it up, repainted, and added a little more glitter. If they wanted a war, I'd give them a disco. Next, the Karens escalated. They called the city, they called the county. I got a letter from the Maplewood Beautification Committee, which, I later learned, was just Catherine and her cat. They even tried to fine me $50 a day until I restored order. Started to crack. I'd come home to find my mailbox turned around, facing the wrong way. Once, it was wrapped in a trash bag. Another time, someone stuck a for sale sign in my yard. The neighborhood group chat was ablaze with debates about community standards and individual expression. I was the villain, the rebel, the mailbox anarchist. Okay. But here's the thing about me. I don't back down. Not when I'm right. Okay. And definitely not when I'm being bullied by a woman who once tried to ban wind chimes for being too whimsical. So, I did what any reasonable adult would do. I started plotting revenge. But not just any revenge. I wanted something poetic. Something that would make the Karens think twice before waging war on joy. Something that would make my mailbox not just a symbol of resistance, but a legend. And then, one sleepless night, inspiration struck. I remembered my college roommate, a tech wizard, who once made a Roomba that barked at intruders. I called him up, explained my predicament, and by the end of the week, I had a plan so diabolical, so delightfully petty, it made me cackle. I was going to make my mailbox sing, not just any song. Oh no, I wanted something that would haunt Karen's dreams. something catchy, impossible to ignore. And most importantly, impossible to complain about without sounding completely unhinged. I settled on walking on sunshine, because if my mailbox was too cheerful, I was going to crank the cheer up to 11. The installation was a covert operation. My tech-savvy friend arrived under cover of darkness, armed with a motion sensor, a Bluetooth speaker, and a playlist of the most aggressively upbeat songs known to man. We rigged the mailbox so that every time someone walked by, especially from the direction of Karen's house, it would blast Walking on Sunshine at full volume. The next morning, I sat on my porch, coffee in hand, waiting for the show. At precisely 7:32 a.m., Karen emerged, power walking in her matching tracksuit, clipboard at the ready. She approached my mailbox, probably to inspect for violations. She drew near, the motion sensor triggered. "I'm walking on sunshine." "Whoa." Karen froze. Her face contorted, a mix of confusion and horror. She looked around as if expecting a flash mob to burst from the bushes. The song kept playing, cheerful and relentless. She marched up to my porch, red-faced. "Is this some kind of joke?" I sipped my coffee, feigning innocence. "What do you mean your mailbox is singing?" I shrugged. "It's just expressing itself, spreading joy." She sputtered. "This is harassment. Call the HOA." I smiled sweetly. "Please do. I'd love to hear their thoughts on mailbox musicality." Word spread fast. Soon, the whole neighborhood was talking about the singing mailbox. Some people loved it, kids danced, joggers smiled, even the mailman started whistling along. Others, mostly the Karens, were apoplectic. The HOA called an emergency meeting. I was summoned, accused of disturbing the peace. I came prepared with a stack of letters from neighbors who loved the mailbox and a copy of the bylaws. Nowhere did it say anything about mailbox music. Catherine tried to argue. "It's disruptive. It's too happy." The room erupted in laughter. Even the HOA treasurer, a notoriously grumpy man, cracked a smile. I leaned in. "If you want to ban happiness, you'll have to put it in writing." The vote was close, but in the end, the Karens lost. The mailbox stayed. The music stayed. And for the first time, the neighborhood felt a little less beige. But the best part? The local news got wind of the story. They showed up, cameras rolling, and interviewed me on my porch. Told them about the war on color, the battle for joy, and the power of a well-timed revenge song. Karen watched from her window, mortified as the story aired. The headline? "Local hero defeats HOA with singing mailbox." After that, the Karens backed off. My mailbox became a landmark. People drove by just to hear it sing. I even started a playlist. Don't worry, be happy. Happy good vibrations. The HOA meetings got a little less tense. The neighborhood, a little more colorful. And me, I learned that sometimes the best way to fight darkness is with a little light. And maybe a disco ball. So, if you ever find yourself up against a Karen army, remember, never underestimate the power of joy, glitter, and a mailbox that sings. If you loved this story, hit that subscribe button, because you never know when you will need a little mailbox magic of your own. And remember, life's too short for beige mailboxes. Stay colorful, my friends.